Hi everybody, Enigma here coming after another video today. I have another little history lesson I want to give you guys today, but let's remember something that everyone that people that we cover here on this channel, they're probably still around and in the industry, and it's the same case with this gentleman we're about to discuss today. So don't bother him. Don't. I'm sure he's heard enough about this whole thing. It's a very infamous part of gaming history, and it's just really interesting. Okay, but we're not going to go back to the 90s. We're going to go to the 20 aughts. Okay, in particular, we're going to talk about the Nintendo GameCube a little bit, and then another game on the Xbox 360. But it's all started with this game right here. This game called Eternal Darkness, Sentences Requiem. This is an excellent game on the Nintendo GameCube. It's one of the rare ones that are out there because it was published by Nintendo, but it wasn't Mario, so Nintendo didn't necessarily put a lot of copies of it out there. At least not at all. I think it did make their greatest hits, but it's still there's not a lot of these copies floating around. You'll notice that the company who made this is a company called Silicon Knights. That little green logo right there is Silicon Knights. They actually developed this game. Like I said, is an excellent game. Uh, Survival horror, all that good stuff. One of the rare ones, probably worth about $100 right now. Doesn't really matter. After that, they decided to keep their partnership with Nintendo going by doing something kind of really different, and that is they partner with Konami to release Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. This is a remake of Metal Gear Solid. This is only available on the GameCube. It has never been made available outside of the GameCube, to the best of my knowledge. And it's an excellent version of Twin Snakes. It basically looks and plays like Metal Gear Solid 2, but it's Metal Gear Solid 1. Okay, so this is actually a very, very good game. Another rare one, probably worth about $100. Once again, we take a look back there, and there's the Silicon Knights logo right there. So they developed both of these excellent games. Okay, that's why I'm going to tell you that the head of the studio, Dennis Dyack, who is still around today, is a talented game developer. You don't just walk into doing this, and all of a sudden you just lose your mind and you can't do anything good anymore. That's just not how it works. That being said, if there's something he wished he could take back, it is going to be the release of Too Human. Okay, so this is the Xbox 360 game. Once again, this is a Silicon Knights game, and doesn't say on. Oh yeah, well it says Microsoft Game Studios. It says Silicon Knights down there, right there at the bottom. They're the developer of this game. Now this is the very definition of a passion project because I saw screenshots of this in EGM back in the 90s on the original PlayStation. This game had been in development for two generations before it actually finally came out, and that's just what I remember seeing. It might have been in development long before that, and we just don't know about it. The game basically is a Norse mythology kind of mashup with science fiction, is what it is. So imagine the science fiction parts of Assassin's Creed, Ragnarok, that kind of thing. Um, but it's you could tell it's someone's passion project. It's the way that the characters were written and all that. The story was there. It's not a horrible story. Gameplay wise, though, this is, and by the way, this is not a rare game. You can probably get this for about $10. Uh, Overall, though, this game is not very good for a multitude of reasons. And what we need to do first to tell the full story of this game is check out the back and see that it uses the Havok engine right there, right? Havok engine. I believe Microsoft now owns the Havok engine. I could be wrong about that. But they used the Havok engine to make this. However, that is not what they originally wanted to use. They initially wanted to use the Unreal Engine that was available at that time from Epic, and the one that was made Gears of War and games like that, Batman, Arkham Asylum, games like that were the backbone of those games. The engine that they ran on was the Unreal Engine, and that's what this game was supposed to be as well. Apparently, the gentleman, the developers, and the gentleman we're talking about, his name is Dennis Dyack. That's his name. Like I said, don't go after him. Don't say anything to him about it. I'm sure he is completely embarrassed by what happened. He doesn't. He regret already. He regrets the entire episode. But when this game was released and it was panned, okay, because this game did not get good reviews. I have played all the way through it one time, and it's just not that good. Okay, I mean the last boss of the game, I seem to remember dying like 3 or 4 dozen times in a row before I could beat it, and it was one of those big bosses that big wolf. I think it was Fenrir the wolf, where uh, it was the fight kept going, so you could just tag in, and die as many times as you wanted to. But this was supposed to be an Unreal Engine, and when the game came out and it got panned, Dennis Dyack lost his mind. Okay, he lost his mind. He went nuts and he blamed everybody he possibly could on this game. And I have a feeling it's because it was his idea. It was his passion project. This was supposed to be the start of a trilogy of games, believe it or not. And of course, it wasn't very good. It didn't sell very well, and it ended up really hurting the company. Silicon Knights would go on to make one other game, which is the X-Men. Uh, it was an X-Men game where you could make your own X-Man and all that, and that wasn't that good either. It was fine. It wasn't great, but it was. I mean, it was. You could play worse games. This is not very good at all. But he came out and sued Epic over the Unreal Engine, saying that they tried to use it for Too Human, and it just did not work the way that they said it would. Said it did, and they were keeping Epic was keeping a special version of the Unreal Engine behind closed doors, and that's what they would show to companies wanting to use the Unreal Engine, but that's not what they would give them, is what he was accusing them of, and of course didn't go very well. Unfortunately, it was in the news for a couple of weeks that he had just basically lost his mind and was going on social media and just blasting people, because there was social media back in 2008 when this game was released. But it didn't end up very well, because all the other companies that were using it were like, we don't see the problem with what they showed and what they gave us. What they showed and what they gave us are pretty much the same thing, and the same thing applied to this, as far as we could tell. And unfortunately, this was the game that kind of cost Silicon Knights a lot, and probably the linchpin as to why they're no longer around as a developer, because this game sold really poorly. The X-Men game they did afterwards also did very poorly, but again, it wasn't the worst game, but it just wasn't. It didn't go over very well. It didn't sell very well, and all that. So now Silicon Knights is no longer around. They've all spread out into other companies, and Dennis Dyack is now the CEO of another game developer. I read that like I said, he's very contrite about it, that he wishes he wouldn't have done it the way that he did. But it was just an interesting deal that was going on at the time, because while the internet had been around and popular for the 10 years or so, it was going viral and getting things becoming viral and sticking in the news. The gaming news was actually rare. It didn't happen a whole lot. You would hear, oh, this game sucked, and then it would just be swept under the carpet. No one ever talk about it again. This was the first time I really remember an executive coming out from one company and basically been just throwing another company completely under the bus, which is what he did. It's what he did. Luckily, he's still in the business. He's still doing stuff. He's a talented game developer. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about that whatsoever. Like I said, these two games right here are excellent. Okay, and he was responsible. He was the head of the studio that made these. So. I have no doubt in my mind that he's a talented game developer. I just think that sometimes when you have something like this, where you've wanted to make this story your whole life, or for a long time, and then this is the result of it, I can see why you would come out swinging. I don't believe he came out swinging to the right people, but he came out swinging nonetheless. So, like I said, this is not a rare game. You can probably find this at your local, game stores for $10-15. It's really not that rare. I wouldn't recommend people actually go through and play it unless you really want to see how bad the game actually is. It's playable, it's beatable. I can see what they were trying to do and what they wanted to do, but it's not what we ended up getting. It was rushed. I could tell the story was there. I could just tell the gameplay was rushed and it wasn't tested enough. So that's what I wanted to show you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed it. This next week will be back to normal for me. I have no doctor's appointments, no dentist appointments, no nothing like that. So Monday through Friday, I'll be streaming with you guys. We're still playing a Persona 5 Royal. Enjoying that quite a bit. Trying to max out the compendium, see if we can get it on this, because we missed Persona 4's by one Persona. Uh, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon, then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is when I stream. I post a couple videos on YouTube every weekend as well. This is one of those videos. So if you have not done so yet, please follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Rumble. You can find me at Evil Enigma on all those platforms. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, smashing that like button, commenting, sharing my stuff really helps out. I've gotten some pretty positive reactions to some of the videos I've put out lately about the industry and what's going on in the industry, and I'm going to make another one of those videos this weekend as well, or something similar to it. But I want traction. I want people to be able to get access to my stuff. So if you'd help me out with that, I would appreciate it. And I will see everybody coming up here this next week. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of your weekend.